This is WJBF News Channel 6 at 5.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery.
And I'm John Hart. Brad is off tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Coverage you can count on begins with what's happening right now. Augusta commissioners are talking downtown safety. A $700,000 proposal from Sheriff Richard Roundtree calls for nearly 3 dozen security cameras for downtown and Riverwalk and 6 additional patrol cars, or patrol officers, I should say. A majority of downtown business owners would have to approve a special tax for that district to help pay for the officers. Some owners don't want to pay for extra security around the clock.
This pay-as-you-go for security, I'm against that. I'd rather have it at my house in Old Town where I've been broke into 4 or 5 times. And if we're going to have to pay for security, than downtown where in the daylight time we don't have a problem.
Also part of that program, downtown property owners would be asked to donate to the Community Foundation to cover costs for a cleanup program. Commissioners vote tonight on endorsing the project because the money for security cameras is not in the budget.
And Augusta is already spending more money than it is taking in. That forces the city to raid its savings account. Right now, commissioners are getting the results of the audit of the 2012 budget. And as George Escala tells us, the city comes up short by about $3 million.
For Augusta commissioners, the budget went bust, coming up $3 million short in 2012.
The revenues were down a little bit. Our expenditures were still down, so we did a pretty good job with that. We anticipated using approximately $3 million out of the fund balance, and we were pretty close to that in our estimates.
I'm never happy when you see something like that, but these are difficult economic times for everybody.
But in 2011, the city ended the year with a $1.6 million surplus, allowing city leaders to take $500,000 and put that money to work tearing down blighted buildings. But instead of the surplus, the city needs to raid millions from reserves.
That's what that fund balance is for. It's appropriate to talk about rainy day funds at the moment, given the nature of our weather, and we use it for that.
Wayne Guilfoyle chairs the Finance Committee and says he understands how the budget gets upside down.
It's a lot easier spending money than saving money, even in just as John Doe's. But to save the money is harder, but it's worth it. And that's where we all need to get on the same sheet of music.
Is it a concern? Is it something you like? No. But do I feel confident in the future of the city and our city finances? Absolutely.
But in 2012, it was a city spending millions of dollars more than it took in Augusta. George Escala, WJBF News Channel 6.
Now, city leaders point to some unexpected expenses in 2012 for adding to the shortfall, including the settlement of a lawsuit last September for $1.2 million with the family of 2 victims who died in a mobile home fire.
City leaders also getting down to business with the bus service. Commissioners will vote on whether to hire McDonald Transit Services to run Augusta's bus system. The current operator, Mobility, was given its 90-day notice earlier this year and is out at the end of the month. Commissioners are considering a 3-year deal for McDonald, which would save the city more than $1 million over that time span.
Project Jackson back in front of the Aiken County School Board tonight. Board members are only discussing the issue in executive session, not taking a vote. But the project and the school board, school board supporting its funding is a hot topic in Aiken County, if any of that made any sense. Ashley Bridges will try to clear it all up for you.
John, the school board members and the North Augusta mayor say this is a very in-depth lesson and you can't just take it at face value. They say there's been a lot of confusion, so they broke down a little lesson plan to clear up the money and the math because after all, we all know that's not an easy subject. Most public school advocates would agree money to public education is good, money away from public education not so good. So when it comes to Project Jackson, many have been very unhappy thinking their money would go into a ballpark instead of inside school buildings.
That's probably the most outspoken reason for it. We don't want our tax dollars going for a ballpark.
But some school board members and the North Augusta mayor say it wouldn't go to the building a ballpark and it wouldn't mean taking any money from schools.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Actually, what we're hoping to do is to build a project that will add even from the first year will add revenues to the school system.
We're not giving North Augusta money. We're not giving the developer's money. We're just deferring some of the taxes.
Even with deferring some tax revenue, they say they would be making money for Aiken County schools. Here's how that works. Right now, the property that would be in the TIF district only brings in around $3,500 a year. With the improvements in Project Jackson, even just a portion of the revenue would bring in more than 65 times that, nearly $250,000 a year, which can go a long way for desperately needed construction or to change the millage rates.
It's a cliche and it's overworked, but hopefully it's a win-win for everybody involved.
The schools could gain even more were the area to be developed to the same extent without the TIF district, but that doesn't appear to be a viable option. And they say $234,000 is about 65 times better than the current $3,500.
Again, there's not going to be a vote tonight. They're just talking about it in an executive session. That vote should come in around 2 weeks. But even if the intergovernmental agreement between the BOE and North Augusta is approved, then North Augusta still has to reach an agreement with the county, and then the city would have to approve the developer's plans. So it still has a long way to go. Live in the newsroom, Ashley Bridges, WJBF News Channel 6.
All right, Ashley, a mystery project is on Aiken County Council's agenda for tonight. It is called Project Charger. The project will be an investment and expansion in Aiken County by an existing business. County administrator says a formal announcement including which company and how much money they're investing should be released by the end of the month.
Aiken is seeing a rash of car break-ins again. Back in the winter, public safety officials saw a sharp spike in break-ins because of people leaving holiday packages and other valuables in plain sight. It is happening again, and officers are reminding folks that most of these break-ins have one thing in common: drivers leaving their doors unlocked.
Lock your car doors and remove your valuables. It's just become so lucrative for them, not only here in Aiken, but we see it everywhere, that people are leaving money, weapons, GPS units, iPads, a lot of things are valuable in the car. And it's just so easy for the folks to simply open an unlocked car door.
Public safety officers say these items are very hard to recover once they're stolen because those crimes happen so quickly.
Richmond County investigators warning about the so-called pigeon drop scam. Investigators say these two men are involved with at least one case of this scam. Suspects promise the victim a large amount of money if the victim puts up some of their cash first. The victim then withdraws the cash, then all the money is put into a bag. When the suspect gives the bag to the victim, the money is gone. Investigators say be cautious when a stranger approaches you about money.
Ask them for their name and their contact number. If it's legit, they will have no problem of giving you their name and their contact number, and you'll be more than happy to contribute to their charity.
Yeah, investigators say the best piece of advice: just call law enforcement or do research before you give your money to a stranger.
Chief Meteorologist George Myers is back with us, and hopefully this nice weather will hold out through the week.
Yeah, did you notice today?
Are you kidding?
Didn't rain.
Awesome.
Phew, unbelievable.